know who by chance these stones were sent to?
Yes.
Perhaps we can find them. I would like to hire your services. Obviously, this is unprecedented. I don't know many of you. Hopefully we can change that. She says it almost like an off note, like hopefully we can change that. But I sadly don't know who I can trust. I've never actually had to have people track down something that grants any wish they desire. But you seem to understand the gravity of it, and, well, you definitely understand that these stones need to be found before, well, I'm sure you can understand all manner of mischief that could be gotten into if they're in the wrong hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll take the job.
Oh, splendid. So, I don't happen to have any gold on me at the moment. And then she brightens up. Of
Oh
course.
god.
I'll tell you what. If you work for me, doing what, well, the fairy was asking you to do anyway, not only will you get whatever resources I can provide you, but I will let each of you borrow a magical item from my store. It's a beautiful storehouse. I spent most of my life collecting them. And if you perform admirably, I might even let you keep them. How does that sound?
Sounds.
Cool.
Yeah, sounds good.
Jarek lifts an eyebrow and says, "You have no guarantee that upon collecting the stones, one of us wouldn't try to use it ourselves."
Lady Celine looks at you quite honestly and says, "No, I don't. But I have more of a guarantee than I would that any of the guards I sent to retrieve it would."
Lady Celine, I'm gonna have to just be honest with you. And this might burn our bridge, but we'll see. Is your concern genuine? Or do you want these stones for yourself?
Lady Celine looks at you for a long time, and then she sits down very calmly and kind of brushes off some pink dust and says, "Despite my appearances, I have watched over this town for 60 years. And in that time, you have no idea the manners of threats I have prevented. I will not see my city trashed by some hooligan with a wish. I will do anything to protect my people."
Then if you will do anything, Lady Celine, perhaps you can resign the gem that you have to the care of someone else.
"I already
Perhaps
have."
this.
She points back to the stone that she placed down to Mika and said she could have it back.
Fair enough.
Lady Celine was like, "I've studied all I can from it, and quite honestly, I would assume that, I'm sorry, what was your name?" And Mika tells her name, says, "Mika here would know more what to do with them than I would."
True. Very well, I just had to make sure, you can never be too careful when it comes to powerful things that can grant wishes.
"Very true," Celine says. "And to be completely honest with you, I am taking a huge chance here. The truth is, I don't really know many of you. I trust Drorliff's word, and he spoke highly of you. So I...
Good. Very good.
But the sad truth is that I don't have many options. I can't hunt these stones myself. I am way too visible. I can barely move around the city as it is without drawing 100 eyes to me. I need someone who can hunt them down, and sadly, I don't know anyone else I can trust."
Fair enough. Out of curiosity, other than the magic that you will loan us, the magic items, what exactly kind of resources can we tap into?
Well, it depends on what you need. Obviously, any guards that I can give you are at your disposal, though I would hesitant or caution their use, especially since if they were to find out what these stones can do, they could become as much an enemy as anything else. I don't want to think poorly of my guard, but mortals are mortals, she kind of says
Yeah.
sadly. Other than that, my information, whatever knowledge I may have. You said you knew who had these stones. Perhaps we can find them.
Perhaps, yes.
Do you have a list or names for me?
I do have some names, Lady Celine. Uh, Perhaps I think before we disclose those first, though, I think we might want to, me and my compatriots might want to get together and figure out a plan of attack first.
Oh, well, of course. I tell you
A
what.
strategy, Because if And he kind of looks around and says, we're all still trying to trust each other here, and we don't really know who's listening in right now. If I blurt out all the names and we have a hidden enemy, then we've given them a resource. Right now, secrecy is a good weapon.
Collimore, if there is going to be any place in which you reveal those names, it would be here. If anyone were powerful enough to eavesdrop on Lady Celine's palace, we would have no chance anyway.
You look over and you see Lady Celine smiling and silently tapping her nose.
Then he says, then maybe I'll say it a little bit more clearly. Your friend, the halfling there in white.
Fiddle stands up and goes, "What? Why I never?" And Lady Celine goes, "Fiddle." Like he calms down, and Lady Celine goes, "Fiddle has been my loyal companion for many years. So why don't we do it this way? I need you as much as you need me. Actually, I suppose I need you more because I need to protect my city. I am willing to work with you and give you all of my resources, but if you accept, then no secrets between us, at least when it comes to the stones. I need to know what's going on, or I can't help you."
Fair enough, Pearson says.
Very well. Then shall, I tell you what. If you can, give me the names, and then while I have Fiddle run down what he can, I will show you my magical collection. Any objections?
How about
Cole-
this? I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead,
Cole
Cole.
seems to be extremely distracted, just his eyes just gazing around the room.
Yeah, Finn's not too far off from that either.
Jared's too
All right.
smart to object to Lady Celine's desire.
Yeah, Pearson is not that well. He might be. Never mind. He has his own opinions of Lady Celine, and he thinks he's hot shit even when he's not. How about this, Lady Celine? There's 3 other names other than the fake one that Sorry, not your fake name, but the one you use when you go shopping. How about I tell you 2 of them? We keep the other one secret for now. If we follow the 2 leads and everything's safe and everything's fine, then we disclose the 3rd. You can never be too careful.
Why are you attempting to keep a secret from the lady of this city?
And Lady Celine stands up, and a very serious look suddenly gets across her face, and she says, "Let me be very, very clear. There is a threat to my town. You are not leaving this room unless I know those names. We can be friends, and I promise you I'm a very good friend. Or we can be enemies, and I promise you that is not what you want. I will not risk the lives of my people."
All right, lady. I'll give you the names.
And then she
don't
completely
have-
brightens up like instant, a second later. "Oh, good. I so hate violence."
So you are Sarah Fillamore, correct?
"Yes. Well, sometimes."
All right. So the names are Dubious Marion, Emmerich Cavengnaud, and Thega Metalhide.
Okay. And Fiddle writes those words down and goes, are you sure one of those names is incorrect? Isn't quite right?"
No, from my memory. That's what I remember reading. Yes.
And Mika pipes up and goes, maybe Trip should get the book? I'm quite sure that was not Thega."
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess we should double check it. I'm sorry. I've just been through so much.
Mika looks around like she's not quite sure she did the right thing. Well, my brother, Trip, hang on one moment. If you can, please, just a few moments. He has the ledger. And then she closes her eyes, and then she opens them a few moments later, and she says, he can't bring the ledger. It's too big, but he can bring the list of names. Hang on." She closes her eyes again, and she goes, "Yes, it's Sarah Fillamore, and Dubious Marion, Emmerich Cavengnaud,
Yeah, good.
and
good.
Wagga Ironhide."
Oh, sorry, iron, metal, my mistake.
And then,
I knew it was some sort of metal.
And then Mila closes her eyes again for a second and goes, "Later, Trip? I'll explain later." And then she opens her eyes again. And you guys look at Lady Celine, and she's silent for a while, and she goes, I know one of those names, and that is not a good thing. Emmerich is a thief of some repute. In fact, dare I say, one of the only thieves who's managed to break into my palace and steal things, and flaunted it. If he has one of those stones, that is not good at all, especially since I have no idea how to track such a person down. If I had, then he would be in a dungeon. But we'll see what we can't do. Fiddle, and Fiddle's like, I'll look up the other names and see what I can find. Thank you, Fiddle. And then she motions to the rest of you to enter another room through a door. And when you get through the door, you see all manner of magical items. Just hundreds of magical items around. And she says, please, by all means, look around. If there's anything you like, I'll be more than happy to tell you what they do. You are all more than welcome to take one item, any if you wish. And I'm going to show this to you guys. There you go. Here's how magical items work in 13th Age. Each magical item is alive. It is an actual entity. It's a conscious thing. And when you use a magical item, not only do you get its benefit, but you also have to deal with its quirks. And these quirks can be anything from as much as them actually talking to you as a real person, or subtle hints and suggestions and influences to do things or behave certain ways. Now, you'll notice on the list I don't have any quirks written down, because while I think that it makes perfect sense that everyone knows what your magical items do, you don't really know what the quirks are until you get it. So when you choose a magical item, I will be giving each of you its quirk in Skype, and then it'll be up to you whether you tell people about it or how you learned about it, or if you keep it to yourself. It's all up to you. And while you guys are browsing, Lady Celine looks at Cole and says, I think I have just the thing for you. You're an orc, right? Such a big orc, too. I have a battle axe that does enormous damage to foes. Of course, the only problem is that you can't let go of it until the fight's over, but I'm sure that's no problem for you.
Cole looks extremely disappointed.
She goes, no, you don't want a battle axe?
No.
Well, what do you do in battle? She looks kind of mystified. I don't think she's ever seen an orc that would turn down a battle axe before.
He looks around and says, is there a target that I could use?
A target? She looks around. I never much liked that vase, and she points to a vase that's like a ghastly pink color.
He takes the empty chest and hurls it at the face.
Okay.
Can't visualize that. That's amazing.
Lady Celine looks at you and the now shattered chest and vase, and goes, I see. And then she thinks about it, tapping her fingers on her lips, and goes, you know, I think I have something for you. And then she starts like talking very fast while she's looking for something. She goes, I never really used it before because I seem completely useless to me. I mean, who wants bracers that just summon junk? But maybe just you. And she brings forth like a pair of leather bracers. And she says, these bracers summon stuff. I wish I could give you more of an example than that, but it's completely random what it summons. I never had much use for it, though, because what it summoned was completely mundane. Sometimes it's a table or a chair or something completely off the wall, but it summons it directly to you. I never thought anyone would have a use for it, but, well, I think perhaps you might. She's, like, offering them up to you like a child. And if you want,
he will pick them up and try to use them.
Okay. You put them on your wrists, and you hang on. Let me roll a d20. You try to use them, and you summon. What did I roll? 16. Oh wow. You summon forth a giant iron ball with spikes. And when I say giant, I mean it comes up to your waist, and it's just a ball of iron and spikes.
Cole, you should try that out. Throw it at another vase.
And so he goes, Maybe not.
Oh, sorry.
She's like looking at
Cole
the iron
has
ball.
the biggest smile on. I'll take them.
All right.
And like picks up the iron ball and just kind of like sort of waddles around with it.
Damn it.
All right.
Jesus
The way
Christ.
yours works, Piff, is did I actually write it down? I don't think I did. The ways yours works, I'll give you the actual written notes on it, but basically once per battle, or it has a recharge of 6. What recharge means for any items that have recharge, in case you guys are curious, is that you use it once in a battle, and then after that battle is over, you roll the recharge. If it's higher than the recharge value, you can use it again in the next battle. So a recharge of 6 is actually fairly easy. Basically, you just need to get anything above a 5, and you can use it in the next fight. What happens is, when you use it once per fight, you will roll a d20. Determining what you roll will determine what it summons. I have a list, and each number is a different item. And each item has some sort of effect attached to it. The closer you get to 20, the cooler the item and the effect. Also, just in case you need to know, you can't test this out. It's a very random magical device. It doesn't like it when people try to methodically find out what it's going to summon, so it just doesn't work if it knows that's what you're trying to do. You are literally just going to have to use it in battle and get what you get.
All right.
So, because the whole point is, I don't want you to have, well, if I roll this, I get that kind of thing.
Right.
It will be a random thing. And its quirk, I will
Skype it.
Skype it. All right, Criana, you wanted the circle, and everyone can know what you got. That's fine. The
Oh,
only
I
thing-
know. I didn't want to interrupt,
Oh, fine.
but I
You
wanted
want
to make
the
it known.
circlet of approachability.
Yes.
All right, but Criana is choosing the circlet of approachability, which is while wearing the
Yes.
circlet in regular social situations, you appear to others as someone who belongs there, easily fit in with groups of people unless there's a particular reason for them to be suspicious.
Woo.
Don't worry, I'll always have a reason to be suspicious.
Obviously, that won't really work on your group, but yeah, in any other social situations, it'll fit in just fine.
Just sit down next to Jarek and put it on and be like, so, what's up?
What would have been great is if I had worn that, chosen that one.
That's actually why I was giggling not too long ago.
I did my best to try and find some that I think each of you would want or find useful. But
Oh, I see 4 that I really like.
I know. I was copy and pasting which ones I wanted, but I think I have the most
On the
fun
other
with
hand,
that.
Narrator, that bow of blindness doesn't even have a recharge thing, so you could keep using that if you kept rolling 16 or higher.
Oh, that bow
Yeah,
also
oh.
has a name that I forgot to write down. And Lady Celia will be so happy to tell you. She's like, I found that bow several years ago, and when I found it, the only thing I got from it when I tested it was that it likes to be called Al.
Oh, God.
Okay. Just okay. All right.
When you take damage from an enemy's attack, can I be the ally that I choose?
No.
Damn it. That makes more sense.
You know what? What I was
Don't fuck
actually
with me.
thinking, Inferno, was maybe you should get the Cloak of Evasion.
Oh, and I was going to say, you guys are more than welcome to talk to each other about this.
Yeah.
From an opportunity attack.
I was going to
Like
suggest this.
disengaging? Without having to roll?
I was going to suggest this because you guys are also going to earn a level up.
Mhm.
So you're going to hit level 2. Now, don't expect to level up this fast usually. It's just that level 1's kind of the introductory level. Once I feel you got the hang of it, I give you level 2, and then from then on, it kind of slows down a bit. But everyone levels up, so congratulations. Good job.
Woo.
Sweet.
You survived quite
damn.
a few dangers so far, and you feel like you're getting the hang of it. We'll go over exactly what needs leveling, and I have one more little bit of story I wanted to get through, and that way we can take our time with the rest of the stuff. So while you guys are looking for magical items, Fiddle comes in, rather disheveled, and says, Lady Celine, I know one of these names now. The Dubious Marion. He is the leader of... And Celine says, calm down. Of what? And he says, the Cult of Salage. And Lady Celine, her face starts to darken. And she goes, oh, really? And the Cult of Salage, she says, I don't know much about them, other than they're a cult of murderers. And it's not a good thing if they have this stone. I'm sorry, I just don't have much information on the cult itself. I'm sure my captain of the guard might, but I do know that they're a very secretive cult. They don't wear any insignia that I know of, no robes they're not very, she quotes the air, cult-like, if you get my meaning. But I do know that they randomly murder people at random times in the most brutal ways.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
And she says, I can try and get Jorlif up here. He might know more and know how we can go about. Well, obviously we need to get the stone back from such a person.
Yeah. that could
Yeah,
possibly
a stone that
work.
can grant any wish. Yeah.
So she
To a murder cult?
yeah. So
Yeah.
she summons Jorlif, who is not far away, surprisingly. Almost like he was following you. And he comes in, and the not all the details are explained to him. Simply that they are looking for, you guys are looking for the cult of Salage, and he gets rather dark and he says, "My lady, the cult of Salage, as I understand it, they pray to a false god that demands murder, and they murder whoever that false god demands. My guards, my soldiers, have been trying to wipe them out for years, but they are notoriously hard to find. I was considering asking one of my guards to go undercover to infiltrate the cult, to get close to the head of the snake, so to speak, but I couldn't imagine actually putting any of my soldiers in such danger. They are not very kind to those in their order they feel are not being faithful." And Lady Celine says, "I see." And then she looks at the five of you. And then she looks back to Jorlif. She says, "A direct assault would not work?" And Jorlif says, "My lady, I know where they are now, but we've tried this before. They hold us off long enough to escape somewhere, somehow, and they pop right back up again." Lady Celine says, "But we know where they are now." And he says, "Well, more or less, yes." And then she looks back at the five of you.
Yeah.
Good thing I got this new circlet.
Indeed.
Yay. I'm gonna blend in.
Maybe they're recruiting.
Lady Celine was like, "I was
Great.
thinking the same thing."
Greater.
And she looks down, kind of sad, and she says, "I don't see many other ways. Perhaps you guys can infiltrate the cult somehow, do whatever they need you to do to become a part of them, and somehow get close enough to this dubious man." Lady Celine's like, "I am not exactly the best with these things, so I would leave it up to your good judgment. You can work with Jorlif. He can offer whatever help he can." She nods to Jorlif, and Jorlif goes, "My lady? Are you sure these people?" And she's like, like it's not even worth arguing about. And
Yeah,
she
what happened
says-
to that high recommendation, Jorleaf?
He
Yeah,
looks at
Jorlif.
you with daggers and says, "I may have said a word or two, but I'm not suggesting that you should be sent to a cult of assassins."
Fine.
See, like, Cole just, like, almost just lifting up and down the ball, just checking its weight.
Yeah.
Sadly, Cole, you find that after a few minutes, the ball disappears.
Aw.
No!
Jesus Christ. Okay. All right.
So, she,
I know what. Okay, sorry. Keep
she
going.
looks at you guys and she says, "I'm not exactly sure what you can do, but I need you to get involved, infiltrate the cult somehow. I give you permission to do whatever they need. Please don't hurt anyone. You don't have to, but I understand that certain lines may be crossed. I grant you permission as long as it's done in our," and she looks at Jorlif, "in our best interest. But please, accomplish the goal we need."
Oh, it'll be accomplished, Lady Celine.